But I love editing, so it's not too much for. It's not like I guess it's like I don't know. I think I'm crazy because like I like editing a lot. So when I'm editing like all the and like ums and like likes and all of that stuff, I'm just like okay. It's like I'm in my head. I'm just like kind of trying to like I don't know. It's like my mind starts working like getting into that like in the zone, so to speak.
So Cortney, what you're saying is you trying to be on the payroll. You trying to edit our videos going forward, then,
huh? We're back with another guest talking about the Mitchells versus the Machines. I'm Chad.
And I'm Matt.
And you're listening to our podcast. We used to talk about this at work. So before everybody learns anything about Cortney, there's some show stuff I want to hit at the top of the show. Like I said at the end of the last episode, I was going to start uploading stuff to YouTube because apparently that is a thing people want. And so as the time of this recording, all of the episodes are on YouTube. And on episode 3, I decided to have a little bit of fun. Episode 3 is the one where you got your couch, Matt.
Yes.
So on that episode, when we start talking about the couch, the intro turns into the pictures of your couch.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah,
we getting fancy now.
I'm having fun here. But, then I was also like, yeah, I'm not going to regularly do this.
All right. Question about this audio. I've been listening to the feedback of some of my Nihonjin listeners.
Okay.
And they said that they listen to it, but sometimes they don't understand what we're saying because sometimes, we might say some slang words or we might be talking too fast. With that editing software, is there any way to add subtitles?
For the YouTube, I think YouTube can automatically generate subtitles, but let's see something here. Let me see.
Well,
slowing down the show.
I think I do know something about what is it? It's an extension for Google Chrome that you can use to I've been using it to look at Japanese subtitles for what is it? For when I'm trying to learn Japanese words, I bring up this thing called Learning with YouTube. It's a Google extension. And you can use that to like look up Japanese words and like the hiragana or the kata or the kanji and look at the romanization if you want to. So you can decide if you want to turn on like eating one of those off or keep eating one of those on and like learn Japanese as you watch regular like YouTube videos on YouTube. So I think it might be the same way for Japanese listeners.
Okay, cool. Because they shout out to Sayako. I know you listen on this one. I got you, girl. I listen to your feedback.
So looks like YouTube will auto-generate what we're saying on the podcast. I'm not 100% sure how accurate that's going to be because I'm just looking at a few moments of it, but but that being said, the reason why we have Cortney on is because he's a bit of an artist. And at this point, if you're listening to it on YouTube, the cover art just changed because thanks to him, we have some very fancy new art. And we want to thank you for that, man.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah, I had fun doing it. It was a nice break from like, usually I'm like doing my own thing, making like comic books or like a superhero comic book I'm working on right now. But I took a little bit of a break off just artwork.
Okay.
So how long you been drawing?
I think I've been drawing since I was like 14, and I picked up like if you guys are like familiar with like this magazine called Shonen Jump, because it's a magazine that's like it publishes like all the manga like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, all those mangas, and like they have an American edition. And like when I was younger, I would go to like Snooks and buy those for like $5 a pop for like every month, and pretty much like read it and like get into like the stories and the characters. And
for the people not living in the St. Louis area, Snooks is a grocery store chain.
But so I would start. That's pretty much like what influenced me. It's like reading manga and like watching anime, and then like it went on to like me like trying to like copy the pictures from like the manga and the anime, and then eventually it led to me like coming up with like my own stories, and up till now it's like I've been doing it I've been taking a little break off recently, because I haven't been like coming up with like as many stories, but I'm trying to focus on like one story right now.
Right. I guess we need to roll back a little bit. So this is another person that we used to work with.
Yes.
Right.
But unlike the other two people, I've never worked with you directly, Cortney.
We haven't worked directly, but
we worked in the same building. Matt, did you work
pretty
directly
much,
with Cortney?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Vaguely, a little bit. Wait, because I'm like, when I was in that once place, when I was in the section where, that's where I started at, and you came you came later on, right?
What year did you start working at that place, Cortney?
Yeah, I came on to the job about 2013.
Okay, so that means you was there
2013?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So that means you kept, I didn't get there to 2014-ish, 15-ish.
Okay. So a little bit after me.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that's where, like, I remember first seeing you when the first department when I started, that's when I remember seeing you.
Okay.
But yeah, man, it's been a minute. So tell me what you've been up to.
Lately I've been learning Japanese and Korean. I think for about like 4 or 5 months, since I think I want to say either February or January is when I really started. And then like as I got into it, I was like, wait a second, what if I learn Chinese, and what if I learn Vietnamese and blah 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 and all of that.
So and, it's this Mandarin and stuff for Chinese. What made you what made you want to learn these languages?
Is it because you wanted to understand anime without the subtitles?
Actually, right, that's a part of it.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, because I did watch a lot of anime, and because like another part of it was that like I bought this book that was that I saw online, and I was like, oh, that looks like a really good like anatomy book, or like a book on like how to draw the figure, and like so I was like, okay, let me buy that. And then I was like, oh, it's in, because like at first I just saw like pictures of the book, and I was like, those look like really cool pictures of like how to draw the anatomy. And then like I researched the book, finding out the name of the book. It was like I was looking at the title of the book, and I was like, oh, that's definitely not something I understand. And I was like, so let me figure out what language this was. And I was like, oh, that's Japanese. And slowly I was like, okay, if I want to understand what's in the book, I want to understand like the language. Mm-hmm. And then that kind of snowballed into like me looking at YouTube videos and translating apps and a whole bunch of other resources that kind of helped me along the way of like learning the language and like learning words and trying to memorize all of this.
So how good is your Japanese right now?
You're about to be put to the test. You shouldn't have said it, Cortney.
I should have kept it locked away and just stuffed it in the closet. I'm gonna attempt to say hi in Japanese, and okay.
If you, and remember, Cortney, if you do well, I'm gonna edit this out.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you know that majority, if you learn certain words, then you should like you'll be fine, because a lot of like what I do now, like even when my coworkers be talking in Japanese, I know words, so then I just piece those words together, and then I figure out what they're saying. So like I just want to put you on a little test. So what Japanese words do you know right now? Just anything.
Yeah, but I know like tabimasu, nihongo, Japanese, ikiru, or that's a word, right?
What are you trying to say? What does it mean?
To go.
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
You're probably wrong then, Cortney.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I'm saying like basics, like, you know how I say good morning, good evening, hello.
Oh, what is it? Hajimashite, yoroshiku.
Hajimashite, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. But like that's like when you get into it, it's like those are like the formal words, like they teach you. But then once because I took a Japanese class when I was here, and they teach you the formal words. And then, like, for example, good morning, right? Is Ohio gozaimasu. Right. So then, you know, I got that down packed. So as I'm hitting work in, I meet my coworkers. I'm like, or I see like people coming in. I'm like, Ohio gozaimasu. And then I realized they'd be like, "Zaimasu." So what they do is, and this is what you like learn in like the Japanese language, they shorten so much words. So they shorten Ohio gozaimasu to just Zaimasu. So now, so like they teaching you all that they're teaching you the correct words, but then in real life they're not saying the whole thing. So like Ohio gozaimasu, you get people to say just gozaimasu, and you get other people like gozaimasu and everything else like that. So. And like you said, watching anime is where I learned a lot of Japanese because I'll be watching it, and then they will. I had the English subtitles. Hey, listeners, never do dubbed ever. Always do subtitle. Always do sub. All right, that's the first thing. And then, so then I hear something. I'm like, oh, like perfect example. This happened on Friday at work. I was watching this one anime, and they said that when we're friends, they use a nickname and they use 10 at the end. So, for example, I would say Chad 10, Cortney 10. So I'm like, all right, well, let me apply this in real time. So I go to work. The women I work with, I'm like, hey, we friends, right? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, well, then I need a nickname because I watched this anime and they said if we say this, then we should put 10 at the end. And they start laughing because they love it. Like, and this is where since I've been in Japan back then, as long as you try, then Japanese people appreciate it. Even if you get it wrong, as long as you're attempting the language, they're not going to ridicule you. That's you don't know what you're saying type of thing. But no, they appreciate you doing it. And they explained to me that like, yeah, when you're good friends, you have a nickname. So then at work, we all have nicknames now because of that.
So you're Matt 10?
Huh? I'm Matt T.
Okay.
Like Maddie, I'm Matt T.
That's funny.
Oh, wow.
That
is very original.
Right. So I'm just saying, so like, it's like watching anime. It does help a lot. Now I know Chad set this one out. I got this. So let's talk about anime for a little bit. What anime are you on right now?
What am I on? Nothing currently, because like the two anime I have watched, they recently ended. Like because I want to say like I was watching Jujutsu Kaisen. That's a kind of like a
I'm all over Jujutsu Kaisen. I've seen it all. I'm all on it.
It's kind of like this supernatural dark anime, and what is it, Attack on Titan? Which is
I'm in the middle of I just finished season, I don't know, like season 2. That's the one I just started recently, is Attack on Titan.
Oh, wait, you're only on, what is it, caught up to season 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't there like 6 seasons of that show now?
No, 4 seasons. They're on their last season right now. Like there are 4 seasons, but they released the first 16 episodes of the final season. And then like I want to say December of this year, like December, November, or they said winter of this season, they're gonna be releasing like the remaining episodes. Like when those episodes get released, that'll be it.
Now hold up, man. I could participate a little bit.
So, okay, all right. What anime you be on, Chad?
Yeah.
So not currently, but when like last year when it was on, I was watching Beastars on Netflix.
That's something. Okay.
Right. And you watch Demon Slayer?
No, but I know that they have that movie that just came out, and I saw a review of it, and it said like this movie is like for people that actually watch the show.
Season 1 had their episodes, and then season 1 ended. So then the movie picks up right after season 1 ended. So if you haven't seen season 1, you can come in and like, who are these characters?
So it's just one season of the show so far?
So far, yes.
Yeah.
How many episodes in season 1?
24.
It's not a lot. Yeah, it's not
what?
A lot.
That's a lot.
24? I'm gonna say 24.
Well, you don't know about One Piece though, so that's not a lot.
I mean, you told me about One Piece, but like if you like not a lot, I'm like, oh, okay, it's like a 6 episode series. I can get down with that. Like, no, I'm not watching 24 episodes. Just
how much is how many episodes is One Piece?
Later on today for Sunday for me, it'd be 973. They drop on Sundays, so 973.
Okay, wow, that's a lot.
So you're learning to drive?
Yeah. I wish I had started that a lot sooner. But
what held you back from wanting to get your license or whatever?
Sure, I guess like when I was younger, it was just like, I don't know. I just didn't like, I don't know why I didn't care for it. Cause like I took the class, a driver's ed class, but because I was like, I knew like the basics of driving at that time, but like for some reason I just didn't like have like the motivation to like get out there and like actually go do it for some reason. And I wish I did, because like realizing like how like closely tied to like driving is to like other responsibilities. Like if somebody is sick, you got to take them to the hospital or
Right,
like
right.
an urgent care or something like that. Or if you got to like go out and get groceries, you want to, if somebody's asking you to move their car or something like that, you
Right.
know, it's like little stuff and like big stuff that all ties into driving that. I guess like when I was like 16 or 17, like I didn't get it for some reason. I wish I had and like done it sooner, but I don't know. It's like I feel like it's teaching me a lot because it's like I guess it's like now that I've like matured like over the last couple of years, like I wouldn't say it's come at a perfect time, but like me learning like the basics and like learning like your decisions have like an effect on like other people around you, and you gotta not only think about yourself, but like you gotta think about the people in the car, the people driving next to you or like coming at you and stuff like that.
No, I get that.
It's funny that you mentioned that because you know in Japan they drive on the other side of the road.
Oh,
so now I got to be like,
nope.
What?
I don't want any of that. Like, just like all those years of driving in America, the steering wheel should be on this side. We drive on this side of the road, and now you got to do Mario Kart mirror mode. No, thank you.
Hey, but you know when you took vacations to other parts of the world in Europe and things like Europe is left side too, right? Or is it right?
No,
right. So left side,
right?
You never thought about how it was to be driving, or you just rode in whatever vehicle it was and called it a day.
I have never driven not in America.
I mean, it's honestly, it's easy. I mean, car wise, it's easy. The only thing is the blinker and the windshield wiper thing is switched.
Right. Okay.
But besides that, all you got to do, like driving on the left side of the road is easy. The only thing you have to remember is when you're turning, like when you're turning into oncoming traffic, like making a right turn, you got to remember, I'm turning into the left lane, not the right lane. And in Japan, you can't, you know, in the States, you could turn, you can make a right turn on red.
I think that's just an American thing.
Yeah, you can't, like, for example, in Japan, you can't make a left turn on red.
Right.
But it like it's like little things like that. But like with the knowledge you know about driving right now, as long as you remember, the biggest thing is left side of the lane, you be good to go. Just the blinker thing. Like there's sometimes right now, like even today, like I'll get in the car and I hit it and it'd be the windshield wipers. I'm like, damn, that's right. And I get hit the other side. But besides that, driving, it's as long as you remember left side of the road, and you're pretty much good.
Okay.
And also it's funny because like there's times where like my wife will get in and she'll get in on the left side of the car and then she'll be like, oh yeah, that's right. And you had to get on the right side because steering wheel was moved over.
That's funny.
Right.
So I'm not sure if you guys know this, and I'm sorry, viewers, you can't see this, but Matt will post a picture. I got a new setup over here. I decided to spend too much money, and I got like a arm and a little stabilizer thing. I got my own little podcast studio over here. You know, I'm doing it.
I'm saying you put me to shame. You came in here first. You had your stand-up mic, and I'm like, okay, because I had my AirPods at first. And after the first episode, I'm like, yeah, this ain't. Remember, the sound wasn't where it was at, so I put in my gaming mic. So then now I'm like, cool, the sound is good on this gaming mic. Now you step it up with this arm, like you in a radio station right now. I'm like, that's what kind of thing you got right now. And I'm sitting there with my little MacBook and my gaming mic. Now I'm like, damn, I need to get some other stuff. So like, once you sent me that, I was like this. I Googled, what do I need to have a podcast studio? And I was like, I need to figure out what I need to do. I need to have something. So
like my genuine hope is that we're doing this for a long time, and when you come back to America, if you come back to St. Louis, like we can actually record in the same space. That is my hope.
All right, yes, that's what I plan.
Right.
So like I figure regardless because as of right now, we're not doing this for the likes, even though we appreciate it and the followers. Right now, we're doing it for us. We want to talk to our friends. We want to get like stuff on our mind, get it out or whatever. And we hope that the listeners, our followers enjoy it. So I don't see this stopping unless, you know, something crazy happens. So we're going to keep it going. And, you know, hopefully along the ride, people listen and enjoy it. And we go from there. So, yeah, 3-ish years, I'll be back and we can do something.
Yeah.
That'll be our first live. Maybe our followers might be up by then. So then we can have our first live in-person podcast.
We'll have a meetup somewhere.
Right. A meetup, do some tickets.
I like
do something like that.
I like the sound of it. So I was on Facebook Marketplace last Sunday, And I was like, okay, so I want a better mic. And the internet says the Blue Yeti microphone is like one of the best ones if you want to do a podcast. And if you go to like Amazon, like for the standard Blue Yeti mic, they talking about like $130, $140.
Yikes.
Right. And so like they got like a mini version that's like a little circle, and that's like $50. And I'm like, that looks stupid and cheap. So I'm on Facebook Marketplace, like, yeah, Blue Yeti. And so I see one on there for like $40, and it's like the one that's like $130. And I'm like, cool. Hey man, what's up? And so dude didn't say anything for like a couple hours.
Wait, can I pause the story real quick? I'm always wary about meeting people up on Facebook Marketplace or COVID, or like they gonna rob me. Like they be like, oh, it's in this box, and then I go to the box, and then like, you know, it's just a gun or like something crazy. Like I've never like, how many times have you bought something from Facebook Marketplace?
Specifically Facebook Marketplace, I bought something off the top of my head twice. Now, to your point, I have sold things on Marketplace before. I bought a new TV in 19, and so like I needed to sell the old one, so I listed my TV and the stand it was on, and I got nothing. I just got a whole bunch of, hey, if I know you said this price, but I'm gonna offer you like $200 less. And I was like, forget that, expletive. I was just upset. And so my wife was like, I'll list it. So she got the TV sold. And then I think I put the stand on, and then somebody bought that. But
wait, hold on real quick. Why, when your wife posted it, why she sold it for the price you wanted?
No.
Oh, okay. So she sold it for like $200 less or whatever?
It wasn't $200 less, but it was less than what I was asking for. And like the thing that annoys me about Facebook Marketplace is like people come on there haggling, even if you put in a listing, I'm firm on this price, people still be like, hey, $50 less. What's up?
But that's what you're supposed to do. Treat it like an auction.
But it's not an auction.
But I'm saying the only place you don't auction or you don't barter or haggle is usually at restaurants. Anywhere else, you're doing that. Like you go get a car and they say $16,000. I can do 13 or something. So like restaurants and clothing stores.
Are you going
to retail places?
Right. Are you going to Walmart and being like, hey, let me haggle you? Like I know.
No, but I'm saying like in other places, maybe you should. Maybe like, hey, this shirt costs 20. I give you 15 for it. And see what happens.
Look, I know I'm not a store, but I know how much I need to make on this product.
But I don't know what you're going through. Maybe you're going through a situation where you will hope to get this much money for it. But hey, times is hard. Maybe you accept this one because maybe it's been posted or whatever. So you gotta haggle.
I don't care for it, man.
I grew up going to the flea market as a child with my grandfather, so I know we go in there. And they whatever price they say is not the price I'm paying. They say they want $2 for this. I give you $1 for it. And they be like, no. All right, $1.50. No. $1.80. No. $1.90. Yes. All right, cool. I say 10 cents on this. We good to go, baby.
and see, that's the mentality that I hate on Facebook Marketplace. You are part of the problem, man. It's good.
I'm trying to get the cheapest deal, no matter what it is, unless it's something like reasonable. If they would have said, I don't know what you were selling your TV for, but if I was like me, say if you're selling it for like $800, and I'm like, that's a great deal. I'm going to come to you and be like, I bought for $500.
I know. That's what they was doing.
Right. But I'm saying, but if you would have been like, no, but eventually I'll be like, all right, fine. I'll buy for your original price, but I'm going to start out low. So maybe I don't have to pay the full price, but then we're going to be good at the end. You'll sell it for what you wanted. I'm gonna be happy with a TV. I've sold one thing on Facebook Marketplace. I sold a 7-month-year-old washer and dryer. Or was it? Wait, was a washer and dryer? No, it was just a dryer.
Yeah, so, I remember this.
Right. So I had a electric washer. I had an electric dryer in my apartment. I moved from my apartment to my house, and it was gas, and it was gonna cost too much to rearrange the fittings to fit it. So then I posted it on Facebook Market. So now this lady hit me up and was like, she'll buy it. She want to know the specs and things of that. So I give her that. And she said she will let me know. And then she was like, she will come on, we'll say this is Monday. She said she'll come on Friday to pick it up. And I'm like, cool. So then like on Tuesday, this black guy was like, hey,
why he gotta be a black guy?
Because he is a black guy.
I'm just saying, like, why you gotta bring up that he was a black guy? Like, cause he about to do something foul?
No. This is part of the story. That's why I listed his race and not the race of the woman. He's part of the story. So then he hit me up on like Tuesday and was like, hey, is that dryer still available? And I'm like, no, this other woman said she got it and she's supposed to like do it on Friday or whatever. But if she don't come through, I'll hit you up and let you know. So then Friday rolls around and she was like, oh no, her husband said that either it was too much or she didn't want to do it, this and that. So then I hit the black dude up. I'm like, hey, the person that come through, if you want it, you come through. So then he comes through, pays him my money cash, and like he had overalls or whatever. Like it's like an old mechanic type of like that. He picked it up and helped him load it into his pickup truck or whatever, and it was good to go. And it was like I don't know why, but it's like I felt good that it was a black dude who picked it up. Even though like
it made you feel more safe.
Not even more safe, but it was like I don't know how to explain. Like I don't
more comfortable with the situation,
right? I mean, because he didn't. It wasn't like he paid more or less than the other person, but it was like once he picked it up and I saw he looked like a grandpa or something, like overalls or whatever. He was just like, okay. I'm like, all right, I'm glad I did it. He was like, yeah, I've been looking for a dryer like this and that. He's like, I bought my wife a washer like a couple months back and they couldn't find a dryer and this and that. And I just felt good. I'm like, I'm glad that they gave it to the black dude.
I get you.
Okay.
To get back to your initial question, Matt. So like, I'm in Walmart. I had to pick something up. And then I was going to go to like the Best Buy to like just look at some microphones, and dude finally hit back and he's like, hey man, yeah, the mic's still available. Let's meet. Where we were going to meet was like 20 minutes away from where I was at. What gave me pause, he was like, here's the address to my house. And I'm like, I don't know about that, sir.
He wants you to meet on his turf.
Right. And he's like, okay, so there's a gas station by my house we can meet at. And I'm like, cool, we can do that. So I'm driving and I get to the gas station. It's one of those situations where it's kind of a big street. If you're going north and you're making a left turn, it's going to be a big deal to make the left turn into the parking lot of the gas station. And like once you make that left turn, like the pumps are like right there.
You saying going north like I'm Lewis and Clark and shit. Like I know what you're talking about.
Well, I was just trying to think. Like I was just trying to think if it's on your left, it's gonna be a really hard. It's gonna be hard getting over there.
Right. Okay.
Like a left on Lindbergh, but I'm gonna cut that out.
No, keep that in there so people know. Left on Lindbergh.
So it's so I go over there and like immediately like in the center are the gas pumps, and so like if you are facing the gas pumps, the street is behind you. And so I park like to the right, and he sends me a message saying, hey, I'm by the where you put air in your tires. And that is like on the back of the main building, like away from like moving traffic. And I'm like,
so we can't be seeing this transaction.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, okay. So like I'm walking over there and like I'm kind of like still like I'm like kind of back a little bit. Like so like I'm like people can see me. And so he gets up and he's like, oh, hey man. So he had the bag. He handed me the bag. I handed him the $40. I got back in my car. And I'm like, okay, that looked like a microphone. I didn't get to test this product, but okay. So I get home and
you don't know what the quality is, so we hope it is what he says it is.
So I get home and I plug it in and it works. And it's one of these mics where you can like you plug your headphones into the microphone. So no matter what you're doing, you hear your voice back. So you kind of have an idea of your levels.
I don't like how was that though, as you hearing yourself back?
Well, that's the thing though. So like if I'm back here, I can't hear my voice. Can you hear me very well?
No, you seem like you far away.
Right. So like I know like if I'm hearing my voice kind of like hit me in the ear, you know, I'm at a good range of the microphone, where if I'm back and I can't hear myself, I know you can't hear me.
Okay.
So everything's cool. Like I was playing with it, testing it. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good about this. So I just leave it on the table where I do my podcast, and then, just go about my day. And so the next day I'm down here working, and I'm like, what's that smell? So I come over to like the microphone, and also shout out to Robert, because that's the guy that sold this to me. He's also a streamer on Twitch, so I'm gonna give you a shout out because you gave me a good deal, brother. But my guy smokes.
Robert, send us some free shit.
But my guy smokes. And so this microphone and like the wire that came with it just really smelled like a giant cigarette. And I'm like,
all right, cool. That's gonna be my next question. Smoke what? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Smoke cigarettes. Okay.
You gotta be specific in this day and age.
Hey man, 2020, a lot of stuff is legal around the world.
Oh man.
So like my bright idea was like I had one of those little air freshener capsule things that you twist. And so like I had like an old ravioli box. And so I put the microphone and the wire and the little air freshener thing in the box, and I taped it up. Made a hot box, if you will. And I let it sit there for about 2 days.
I'm glad you know the terminology.
I've been saying that all week, and my wife's like, "Please stop saying that." And she's like, "Don't say that on your show. You don't want to look uncool." And I'm like,
"Nah, it's too late now. We keeping it in this."
I'm like, "No, I'm gonna say it. The people need to hear this." So,
oh my goodness.
When I finally took it out, it smelled like a combination of an air freshener and smoke. So that really wasn't a good mix either.
It doesn't sound good.
So what I ended up doing was like I ended up just taking it to the garage and just sitting it out there for like a couple hours, and so it smells pretty good now.
Yeah, like normally with like dealing stuff with cigarettes, is more the less is with the cigarettes, the better it's gonna eventually be. Yeah. So yeah, you be able to rock it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it smells a lot better now. Because I have had it out since Thursday, I think, and there's no smell now. So it's all good.
Okay.
But Robert, you need to stop smoking, man.
But I guess the real test will come through once we finish this podcast and you can see how good its quality is. Then you better tell if it was worth
I'm gonna be so mad. Like I'm listening back and then y'all talking and nobody can hear what I said.
Oh, man. When you always talk, you're gonna do this or you should do this, and then you never put the wheels in motion. But like once we started,
I twisted your arm.
Did you though? Really, it was like blah blah blah. We need to do a podcast, and I'm like, yeah, we talked about this for a long time. You took it upon yourself. You did the research, did everything, blah blah blah, and you were like, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, all right, I'm down. So, but doing this and seeing good feedback, seeing results and everything like that has got my
creative juices going.
Creative juices, not only creative juices, but like basically, excuse my language, like get off my ass juices, where I've always had ideas for stuff, and it's like now I need to start putting things in motion. Like with Cortney here drawing, I draw.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know I didn't know that either.
Because you didn't offer to make the cover art. So
you know why? The reason is because I cannot draw off the top of my head. Like if you were like, hey,
nobody
draw whatever, I can't draw off the top of my head. But if you had a picture of something, I can draw with exactly to what it is.
So you can trace.
Yeah.
No, it's not tracing. Whatever it is, like if I can see it, I can draw it.
Yeah. But like most artists don't do that. Like that professional artists, they don't draw at the top of their heads. It's like it takes like I guess it's like with this podcast, it takes a lot of planning to like figure out like what you want to talk about or like what your goal is of like what project you're doing, and like you have to make thumbnail sketches of like of ideas, and then like pick out like one idea that like you think fits the best or like that makes the most sense to like that best expresses your idea, and then you go with that, and then you create a final design and then make it look pretty.
Right. And I can't do that, like because I've tried to draw like off. All right, I want to draw whatever, and I tried to draw it and I can't do it. But if I see a picture of it, I can draw it. And as far as we talked about our Instagram and our YouTube, I will post some of my drawing of anime characters, and we'll have the listeners, if it's trash, let me know it's trash.
I like that engagement.
Be nice to artists are sensitive about their material. So
as Bobby Brown would say, don't be cruel.
Right. But you feel like I went to my senior year of high school. I already have enough credits, and I went to tech school half my senior year, like half the day. I went to a tech school to learn how to do architecture. Like I went to college. My first year of college was for engineering. I was going to be an architect.
Oh, wow.
But this is early 2000s and everything else like that. So that me and my boy, we was like, this ain't it. We need to own our business. We need to be out here in the clubs and things like that. So then I changed my major to business management because I thought I was going to own a nightclub.
Okay. I mean, you had ideas, and
ambitions.
You were willing to put yourself out there, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But now I'm like, I start thinking about short story ideas, and
Okay.
we're going to transition later on to our movie that we're going to discuss. And seeing that movie, that got me thinking about maybe doing short films and things of like that. Because I have an idea right now where I haven't put no pen to paper, just an idea. I got to flush it out. But you seen Antoine Fisher, right?
Yeah, I've seen Antoine Fisher. I've seen him many times.
Right. But thing is, in that movie, he was an SH. That's a job in the Navy. That's the same thing I did. And he made that movie about himself. And I'm like, but I want to make a movie about, have you seen the movie Project X with the party with the kids?
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've heard of it.
But basically, I want to make a movie about the Navy partying because there haven't been a movie about us hitting ports and showing that. I know the Navy don't want to shine a light on that.
Right.
But it's everything that any ship sailor has been through. So I would like the movie about not even partial my life. We can just use, person who looks closest to me, Michael B. Jordan. They always say we look alike. So
but,
Michael B. Jordan.
I mean, the thing is also, it's like your short film or your indie film can't afford Michael B. Jordan. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be it's gonna be some up and comer.
Can I play that sympathy card about how he needs to support the veterans and then coerce him to do it?
I'm sure Michael B. Jordan don't care about those veterans.
You can get what is his name? Anthony Mackie to do it. Well, no.
Hey, I'll take anybody. But back to, it's like I just want to like starting doing this has got my thing where I need to start. I have ideas. I just got to start acting on them and then see what happens. They could be trash or they could be good. Doing this podcast and doing everything has opened up my creative mind, and like I'm trying to start focusing on doing things more. But yeah, dealing with like when I was trying to think of ideas for my short films and things like that, I started thinking about they're doing a lot of remakes of movies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I was want to get your guys' thoughts. Like, do you support remaking movies, or do you think that if they've already done it, they should leave it in the past and come up with some new stuff?
Well, first of all, I want to applaud you on that smooth ass transition, man.
This ain't my first episode.
They'll smooth like butter. Okay, I see you, Matt.
I'm out here. I appreciate it.
So I feel like there's some merit to some remakes. Remakes.
All right. Well, as you think about that, so what I did was I looked up late 80s, early 90s movies. Top movies, and that's what I did. And I'm like, okay, which movie would I or today's generation would want to see a remake of? I only came up with 3. Okay, and so you guys give me your thoughts about it. Go ahead.
So, did you see Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, okay. I have.
So that is like one of the top tier zombie movies of the 2000s, and that is a remake. It's quite good.
Yeah, I was surprised that I found out he was director, the director of the movie a year or two ago, and I was like, the same dude who did, BVS, Batman vs Superman, Justice League, Man of Steel, and I was like, it took a minute to compute that in my head or make sense of it, and I was like, okay, because generally his movies aren't generally well received across I guess some of the fan base that may be across most of the fan base, but so I was like, okay, but now I was like, that's a good movie though, so I'm not really hating on them that much.
Right. So your question is movies that old movies, American movies that years later were remade, right?
Not has already been remade. I'm just saying old movies that you would like to see remade now or would be a success now. I was just thinking because I looked up late 80s, early 90s movies, right? Top movies. And I went through the list and I'm like, which ones do I feel like will be a good remake in 2021, 2022? Okay. And I came up with 3.
Okay.
And 2 of them are black movies though.
Okay.
So the first one I came up with was Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Because I feel
would you remake that?
No, I'm saying because I feel like with the CGI and what we have now could be a lot better than what it was then. And I feel like the story, it could be the same or different. I just feel like people versus cartoon, they could do something with that.
I would not mind. Like, I feel like I agree, like with the technology we have today, that would be very interesting to see. But I feel like because of all the contracts that had and agreements that they had to make that movie exist, with you crossing over Disney and Warner and Hanna-Barbera characters,
right?
Like, I feel like that movie would be really hard to make now.
All right, well, let's move on.
And I'm not trying to like knock it down. Like, that's like a hurdle I see.
Well,
happening.
Okay, take the logistics out of it, and because I didn't even think about the logistics when I thought of this. I was going solely off of, hey, this movie I liked it then, dislike it now. Another movie is Vampire in Brooklyn. Have you seen that?
I have not. I heard it wasn't that good.
And you heard from the wrong person. I love Vampire Brooklyn. Okay. I think like that, like if you watch that movie, it's funny. Like it's funny and it's dark at the same time. I think that will work perfectly in this day and age.
Okay. I mean, I feel like that movie could have worked in the 90s, but like it didn't do well. And I can't speak to what the issue was because I didn't see it, but there was something misfiring. So what's your third movie?
The first black superhero. Meteor Man.
I don't think that's accurate.
Well, the first black superhero I know, Meteor Man with Robert Townsend. I love that movie, and I think they should bring that back.
I love that movie too, and I feel like we're gonna have to do an episode about it.
We should. Oh, wow. Like you're right. I think we should watch it again and Meteor Man all day about it. I love Meteor Man.
So I feel like that's gonna be one of our special edition episodes where beforehand we're gonna record our thoughts on it. And then we're gonna come back and tell you what we actually saw, and it could be trash.
But do you think that they could redo a Meteor Man?
From what I remember, I feel like it's a pretty universal story. Like
right.
Nothing too crazy to where it wouldn't be an issue. Like the only issue I see is that whoever puts it out would be like, there's too much superhero crap out here nowadays. That's the only hurdle I could see. But like I feel like it is right for a remake.
And that's what I'm thinking, because like you see how black people went to see Black Panther and everything that. But if you promote it off, like, I don't know if this was, but as far as me being 36, like that was the first black superhero that I can remember off a movie. And not only was it just it had comedy in it and everything else like that. So like that was my first one. So if they was able to redo it now, where you have the action, but then you actually have the basis of the comedy with it. I mean, because then later on, you had Blank Man and everything else like that.
I forgot about that.
People forget it when Black Panther came out, first black, they forget about Blank Man and Meteor Man. Now I remember all that. I love Blank Man too.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Right. I think Meteor Man will be right with this in 2021.
Could you do Blank Man now? Like, didn't he have like a disability that they were making fun of?
He kind of. It was like no, you couldn't do. You could do Blank Man for 2021 because it will be like, Living Color. We need to do Repairman, and he was like, that
was all Safety Man or something like that.
Safety Man, like like Handicap Man or something.
Yeah,
you couldn't, like that part you couldn't do, but Blank Man, he was just a nerd basically.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can't do it was Handicap Man. Yeah.
Okay.
Upside down. In Living Color, you won't be able to do that now.
Yeah, you won't get away with that. No.
So Blank Man you could do
Meteor Man.
And Meteor Man, I'm like, those are the three I came up with. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Vampire in Brooklyn. There was other ones, but it was kind of like, I don't see but I don't see the translation. Like another one was like Boomerang, or like some of those things was like, you could do it, but it's not gonna feel the same, where I feel like those three, you could do it and probably even do it better with today's technology.
Yeah. Tonight we're talking about the Mitchells versus the Machines.
I gave you all boundless knowledge, and you treated me like this. swipe, poke, swipe, poke, poke, pinch, zoom. We're the last people left. It's us. Save the
A quirky, dysfunctional family's road trip is upended when they find themselves in the middle of the robot apocalypse and suddenly become humanity's unlikeliest last hope. So we're just going to hit this right from the top. We used to talk about this at work. We come out swinging with spoilers.
And you know, you read the description. We don't have time to give y'all spoiler alerts. Y'all knew what this was when we started. Y'all know from day one, we don't get spoiler alerts. Read the description. Please, people, you got to read.
So we are going to spoil this, but we are going to try our very best, just in case you don't want to watch the movie, to give a clear description of the events of the movie, along with any criticism that we have.
And side note, for anybody who does not want to see the movie, go see the movie.
Okay,
you
so
have Matt approval.
Matt just put it out on the table right there. He liked the
hey
movie.
Man, if I put the Matt approval on it, then you know it's good.
Okay, so let's give I'm gonna give a more in-depth description just from off the top. Okay, so the movie is about Katie Mitchell. She's a young lady about to go to college, and she's kind of disconnected from her dad. They've grown apart over the years. She has a mom and a brother, and she gets accepted into film school. And so tomorrow she's going off to film school, got her plane ticket, she's all ready to go. But her dad realizes that, hey, we aren't as close as we used to be. And so he decides to cancel her plane ticket, and they do a road trip from, did the movie say where they lived?
I always wondered about that. It was like they never said where they started from. I mean, all we know is that it's weird in this country, but like with woods and stuff, but that could be anywhere. They never explained where they started from. And I actually thought about that too, because the license plate, but I don't remember what the license plate has said. So keep talking. I'm gonna find out.
It had to be at least somewhere on the east, not necessarily East Coast, but the eastern part of the country. Because at one point they drive to St. Louis and go to the Arch, and then another point they were in Colorado.
So when they showed up to the Arch, were you like, oh, that's the hometown?
No, I was like, no. When they got to the Arch, I was like, no, you can't park a car that close to the Arch.
That's the same thing I thought about. That's the same thing I thought about. I'm like, y'all way too close. I'm like, that's not how it is out there. You need to back. Like, that's the same thing I thought about.
Right. Oh man, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was like, I guess I was just so excited to see the art movie, and I guess like in the animated movie, or like it could be either or live action or animated, but like I was excited because like we don't get that much like
attention.
Yes.
Well,
I was like, wow,
I'll say this:
nice.
we don't get that much neutral attention. We get a lot of negative attention. I'm not even looking for positive attention, just neutral attention. Like this is a place. So they do a cross-country road trip to Los Angeles to take her to film school. Along the way, sadly, the robot apocalypse happens thanks to a kind of greedy tech company. And the family, the robots are trying to round up all the humans. So the family, they go and they try to stop it. And that's more or less a halfway decent description. So Cortney, what were your thoughts on the movie?
Oh, not to take it off.
Sorry.
Michigan.
I'm not good.
Okay, okay. The movie started
They
off
were
in
in
Michigan.
Kentwood, Michigan.
Okay.
I think, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but like my thoughts of the movie were I genuinely liked the movie. It had a pretty nice I guess like over like the tone of like father and daughter like trying to understand each other, like, and then like having like what was it like, because like throughout the film they these like moments where like they were like what is it, because like I guess like family was a core theme of the movie, and like they had like these parts of the movie where like, or like I guess like the end credit scene where like they put the crew like on the spot where like they would like show like pictures of like them as like kids and teens and like with their families and stuff like that. Yeah, so I appreciated that. Yeah, and I feel like I guess like it's something that like it's good to be reminded of because like sometimes we forget to like check in on like well I guess like I do. I don't know about like anybody else, but like sometimes you forget to be like, I guess you can be kind of like selfish for lack of a better term, where it's like you only have like focus on you sometimes, and then like, oh snap, I was supposed to
see
do
how
this
so
for
and
my
so was
brother.
doing. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
now
and
that you
like
guys
checking up
mentioned
on each
that, I
other.
want to
Yeah.
say shout out to Michelle for the times that I forgot to email her. It wasn't like that. I meant to say something. It wasn't personal. I got busy with life.
Don't worry, Matt. I'll cut that out for you. Okay.
Nah, keep that in there. People who listen to the previous episode will understand that.
No, like I'm with you. Like for me, like the father-daughter element really resonated with me because I have a 10-month-old. And so like I love spending time with her, and I'm really looking forward to the time when we could just run around and have adventures together. But I'm also already dreading the point where we will possibly not see eye to eye on things as she, goes into being a teenager. And
Now,
so like
I go through with that right now. My son don't like wrestling. My son don't like anime. I try to get him on Demon Slayer. I try to get him on One Piece. He ain't feeling it. He be on Fortnite, and I'm like, you want to get on Call of Duty? He like, nah, I want to be on Fortnite, and I'm just like, all right, then.
But Fortnite is free to play, Matt.
Huh?
Yeah.
Fortnite is free to play. Your Call
So
of
what's
Duty
Call of
costs,
Duty?
Your Call of Duty costs money.
My Call of Duty, no, the game costs money, right? You're right. But then once you get on there, it's free. But yeah, but I know, but it's like you want your offspring to be in the thing that you want to do,
right?
And you want to be like, hey, look at this. I used to do this as a kid. I used to love doing this. You should do it too. I love it as an adult. We can do things like I wish my son was into wrestling. I'm be like, oh, I remember I used to do this as a kid. This wrestler, blah blah blah. And when every time he on there, when wrestling come on, I'm like, oh, look at this, and he like, Daddy, cool, can I go play on my iPad? And I'm like this.
Oh no.
All right, then. Go ahead. So then, and now Fortnite, like I was like, all right, I'm about to be that cool dad. I'm about to jump on that Fortnite. I'm about to do the things.
Wow.
So I'm like, I play Call of Duty. I play Battlefield. I'm nice with the hands. I play Fortnite, and then Fortnite, like you can build like walls and stairs.
Oh yeah, that's right, because it's got that Minecraft element.
Right, and I'm like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right.
And then you can go underneath sand and move and stuff. He was like, Daddy, you need to do this. And I'm like, man, I know what I need to do. I've been playing games before you was born. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm getting frustrated because A, I really don't know the buttons on this Fortnite stuff. B, it's not really making sense to me.
Right.
And he knows the game. So he's telling me, hey, you need to do this. And I'm like, so now I'm like this. Now I don't play Fortnite, man. I'm like that's a young man's game. I stick with my Call of Duties, my Battlefields, and stuff like that. But like, I hope that there is a time where he like right now. He said right now he wants to get in football. He
like
wants to
real
get more
football,
into football
or Madden.
No, like real football. He don't play like Madden. So I'm like, yeah. He's like, I was like, oh, who's your favorite player? And he's like, Pat Mahomes. And because Kansas City Chiefs got to represent the whole team, baby. And then I'm like, name somebody else. He don't know nobody else.
No, thank you.
Yeah, he don't know nobody else. I'm like, all right, well, we getting there. So it is like, I wish I could hold. There is something like father, son, father, daughter, where you want to have that connection with him. And I don't have that with him right now.
I agree with you, Matt. Like the whole parental element of it, like I really connected to. But I will say this. I wish that was the movie. Like, I wish the movie was just like the family's road trip to school. The father and the daughter just growing to be back on the same page, similar to like a Goofy movie. And we didn't have all this robot stuff. Like, that stuff was fine.
I like that part.
The robot stuff?
Yeah, let me go back. So when I first started it, and when I wanted to 5 seconds in the movie, they got things popping up, like the cartoon things popping up. First thing I thought about was Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, and I'm like, it's kind of like not jarring, but if you're not expecting all that extra stuff, it's kind of like a shock or whatever. So I'm watching it, and then like I'm looking at the animation, it kind of mixture of like Scott Pilgrim versus the World versus like Spider-Verse. Yeah. So it's kind of like that. Yeah. So as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, I understand the concept. I'm watching it. At first, it wasn't pulling me into the story. Once they started the trip, it did. And I ain't gonna lie. Now, I have a son that's 10 years old. Towards the end, I like the comedy in it, the jokes. I like the action. I like the story. And then the whole heart-to-heart stuff about the father and daughter, it kind of got to me towards the end where he did this learn technology and this and that. And like, I ain't gonna say I got choked up. It wasn't that far. Like me getting choked up, we say it's a 5. It was like a 2 or a 3 where I'm like, I got a little bit emotional where I'm like, I like the family not being together, being on opposite sides, blah, blah, blah. And then coming together.
I feel like it's because I do have a daughter. Like I was getting choked up. Like I was feeling every moment of those flashbacks when she was little.
Because they said, what is it like? Pixar, it's another company?
What you mean?
Who made this?
That produced it?
It's Sony.
Yeah. Sony. But I'm like, I like the jokes. I like the callbacks to the 90s of the Furby stuff. I like honestly, this is the movie I know like I could watch tomorrow and put it back on and still be entertained with it.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about the Furby comic. Is like, I don't know why I was like, I like stuff like that where they like go back in time, not like, literally, but like they pull stuff from like the 90s and like when you were a kid and they put that in the movie, and I'm like, and then you go like, oh yeah, it's like I used to. Or it could be like I used to do that, or like I used to have a toy just like that. Yeah, I was
remember
like
Rihanna and T.I.
It's like I remember my sister used to have a Furby, and like when it's sleeping, if you turn the lights on, it'll be like, no lights, please. So now, whenever like I'm sleeping or it's too bright for me, I always tell my wife, no lights, please.
You get the reference?
No, she doesn't, but I explained to her, so now she gets it.
Oh my god.
Like, I'm with you. Like, I do disagree with you though. Like, I do wish that we didn't have to do this robot subplot, and that.
But you didn't understand about how the robots and then relying too much on technology type of thing. You didn't take that extra ideology on it about that.
Maybe if there was like a slower build up to like the technology turning on people, maybe like if more of the tasks that they were trying to do with the phones and computers weren't really working out right until like eventually it did lead to those robots coming out, if that makes sense.
No, I understand, because if you're thinking on a realistic level, so we'll say Apple is that company, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody uses Samsung and everything else wouldn't be affected and everything else like that.
Right. Well, that's something I kind of want to bring up slightly, because like, did anybody else notice that the font of the PAL company was Amazon's font?
Really? No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, like they had like that the little swoop at the bottom, which is like the little smile for the Amazon symbol.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay. Dang. Yeah. But I guess it's more like in line with like the company, because like the company is called PAL, and like you want to, I guess like you want it to come off as friendly, so you put a little smile under it,
right,
make it look like. But yeah, I didn't notice that at first, but when I watch it again, I'm gonna make sure I watch out for that.
I like the movie. Matt liked the movie, and you like the movie too, Cortney?
Yeah.
We should have we talk about this at work scale where we grade these movies.
Oh, we should make it something fun, like work related. We're not gonna grade
this
like movie.
You get a pink slip,
right?
Or something like that. Yeah. if it's garbage, we should give it a pink slip. But if it's something like that, we should have our own grading scale. Since every episode we're gonna be talking about a movie, we should have our own grading scale.
I like that. So that's our homework this week, to figure out what the grading scale is. So what do you guys think the Rotten Tomatoes is on this movie?
I just say it's pretty high, because I think if you didn't enjoy it, I'm like all around, it's a good family movie. I don't know, 85%, 80%. I don't know.
What's your guess, Courtney?
I would say it's pretty high because, like,
what's your guess?
I look on Twitter. And I've been looking on
What
Twitter
is your
off and
guess?
on, but I would say it's pretty fresh, or something close to that. Whatever it is on
Throw me
Rotten
a number,
Tomatoes.
Courtney. What is your number?
80.
98.
98.
Really?
Okay.
98.
That's
Wow.
high.
At the time of this recording, it is 98% on the tomato meter and 89% for the audience score. So this is the part of the episode where we're gonna do movie trivia, Courtney and Matt.
Okay.
All right. So
wow.
I'm mixing up the trivia once more. So here we go. Maya Rudolph has been in 4 Sony animated films, including this one. Out of the 4 movies I am about to list, which one was she not in? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. You ready,
Okay.
Matt?
Mhm.
All right. The Emoji Movie, The Angry Birds Part 1, or not Part 1, but the first Angry Birds movie.
Wow.
Smurfs: The Lost Village, aka Smurfs 3, or The Angry
Mhm.
Birds 2. Which one of those 4 movies was Maya Rudolph not in?
Angry Birds 2.
Okay. I've only seen Angry Birds 2. I haven't seen any of those other movies.
Throw a
Wow.
guess.
The Emoji Movie.
Okay. So just
Okay.
to recap, Matt locked in Angry Birds 2, Courtney locked in the Emoji Movie, and the answer is Smurfs 3.
Oh wow.
I never seen no Smurfs movies, so I don't
haven't
know.
seen any. Oh my god. They had just like the trailers. I was like, nope.
Well, if it helps anything, I haven't seen any of those 4 movies. Like, nobody's watching a Sony animated movie.
What was it?
Wait,
I've
you didn't see
seen
Emoji?
the Angry
No, I did not see that movie.
I seen Emoji and I seen the first Angry Birds movie.
So let me run down this trivia real quick.
All right.
So the PAL
Okay.
building is shaped exactly like the Sony PS5.
The what? I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't
The
notice
PAL
that.
building, like the white angular building.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice it either. And lastly, this annoyed me with the movie, not because because they put it in here, but the way that they put it in here. So this says this is the first Sony Pictures animated film to feature an LGBT character. And like and you
I
remember
heard
how
of
like
that.
at the end they threw in that little line from the mom that asked if she was bringing home that girl that she met at school
Yeah.
for the holidays. And it's like I don't mind, like, obviously I'm here for diversity and inclusion,
Right.
but for you to just throw that in there as a line, that feels no different than the BS way Disney incorporates LGBT characters, like the way they did it for Beauty and the Beast.
Elaborate. I don't remember
yeah.
this.
So in the live action
Okay.
one where the girl from Harry Potter, she played Belle, LeFou,
Right.
Gaston's sidekick, they made him gay. But the
Yeah,
only
that's
thing that
it.
they did was that he was in the end of the movie where everybody's friends, he was dancing with a man for like 3 seconds. And then they cut away. And it's
Oh, so
like,
they're just doing it just to say we did it. But
right.
oh, right, because when she said, "Are you bringing?" When the mother was like, "You bringing the girl home?" I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, people bring friends home all the time. I didn't know they was in a relationship.
Right. And so it's like you just throw that little bit in of like, hey, we get points for being diverse, right? Right. Also, when this plays in other countries that aren't okay with that, we can easily cut this one scene. So it's okay. See?
Right.
See?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I think another thing is like it may be something due to him like not trying to like, wave a flag or something like that, where it's like, hey, we have a LGBTQ character over here. Because I think there was like I did like look at like some articles online after I watched the movie, and like they made I want to say on the board outside her room there was like a rainbow, and then like yeah, there was a rainbow on the board, like with it's like stuck to like what is it, like a little pin, and what was it?
Okay.
Like if you pay attention to it, yeah, it was like a pin on her hoodie that she wears throughout the movie.
Very subtle representation.
Yeah,
I didn't notice none of that. Yeah,
exactly, and that's the whole point I'm making. Like, I'm not saying like you had to come out the gate and she's kissing girls left and right, but like you have subtle things like a rainbow, which you could also like wipe away, saying like she's like fun-filled character, so of course she likes rainbows and stuff. And look how colorful
Yeah.
her whole editing style and art style is. But like, just put something in the movie that you cannot easily remove when this plays in some other country.
Right. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, because I know I've heard of Disney doing that. What was it with
they did it in
the
Star
Rise
Wars.
of Skywalker?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? There was what's going on with Star Wars?
Because like at the end of Star Wars, they had like this scene where like they were all celebrating because they defeated the Emperor. Yeah, and everybody. There were two women and they embrace each other with a kiss. And I think like overseas Disney had cut that out, but like over here they kept that scene in there.
Right, and the scene's like 2 seconds long.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even know it was in there. It's like I missed that scene. I must have been looking away, but I don't know because like I missed that. It wasn't on my radar until like somebody like pointed it out in the article I read, and I was like, okay, I didn't know that was in there, but all right.
But all right, so that's gonna be the show. Cortney, do you have anything you'd like to plug before we roll out, sir?
Well, if anybody wants to, keep up with me, I have like an Instagram and Twitter. You can catch me on Instagram at SurgeHero100, and if you want to follow, it's SESURGE Hero HERO 100 on Instagram. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at L Lawley 11 LLAWLIET 11. And those are the two places you can find me on social media.
Okay, and I'll be sure to put that in the show notes too.
I wish I had those skills to do that kind of stuff. So check out his artwork. And also on YouTube, I know you got some things going over there. What kind of stuff you be talking about on YouTube?
What is it? I don't know. I just do I make like little skits here and there, and I talk about like anime, cartoons. I've done a really bad job of like updating my YouTube page because I'll leave it there for like 3 months and be like, oh yeah, I got a YouTube page. I need to like get back to, or like, because like I like doing the work. I like making videos and editing it, but like sometimes I'm just like, snap. I was like, I do have a YouTube page, like because like
what's your YouTube called?
Comment Court. So
okay,
it's like
I'm gonna I'll put that in the show notes.
So if you guys enjoy Cortney's commentary, everything, I highly suggest you check out his Instagram, his Twitter, his YouTube, all good quality. I think he's going to be on a future episode. I think we got something here. Okay. I highly suggest you guys check him out.
So thank you so much for listening. Please rate and review our podcast on the various places one listens to podcasts. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at weusedtotalkpod.
We everywhere, baby.
Well, mostly. Like I'm having some issues with Pandora, but we in most places.
We in 99% of these places out here. I don't hear no excuses. Y'all know where we be at.
We like antibacterial soap. We 99.9. All right.
Yeah, that's how we are. That's how we are. We out here.
But yeah, man, this was fun. Thank you so much, Cortney. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Chad, I request we're gonna sing the Captain Planet theme song at the end of this podcast.
All right, so now we can do your song. This will be the thing that we do after the.
All right, so you remember how it goes?
Let me see. It's Captain Planet. He's a hero.
Gonna take pollution down to zero. Yeah. Gonna help them pull the thunder. Bad guys who to pollute and thunder. And the guy goes, "You'll pay for this, Captain Planet. We are Planeteer, and you could be one too. Because saving our planet is the thing to do. Polluting is not the way. Hear what Captain Planet has to say." And he's like, "This is just power is yours." And he goes, "Doom, doom."
This is so, oh my gosh, dude.